You're listening to a podcast from the Finnish Football Show.
Yep.
Hello, yes, welcome to the Finnish Football Show. I'm Keke and Mark, and I'm in the driving seat today. Producer Mark has had a well-deserved rest, but I'm pleased to say I'm joined this evening by another of the OG FFS dudes, and my old friend. Welcome to the show, Mark H.
Thank you, buddy. Thank you. It's good to be here. I mean, it's not great after the results we're going to go through, but it's good to be back on the mic. And as for producer Mark, you can't say it's a well-deserved rest. I think he's skiving. I think he's having a night off. It shouldn't be allowed.
Indeed. Yeah, he is a podcast machine usually, but he's let us loose with the controls today. So we'll see how that works out.
Which means we can swear as much as we want, right?
Yeah, and he'll have to bleep it all out. So yeah, listen, mate, great to see you. First of all, looking very well. But yeah, we're here to talk over some internationals, which is when we usually drag you out and get you to talk over those with us. Yeah. So there's been 4 games all up: 2 for the men, the Huuhkajat, and 2 for the women, the Helmarit, with differing opinions of the results, depending on where you're sitting. But we'll have a chat through those, mate, and see what you think about the games. Starting off with, I suppose, Jacob Friis' first match in charge of the Huuhkajat, and that was the game away in Malta. I'm pleased to say that I was there in Malta, made my way over to Malta, and to see the opening game of the Friis era. And
history in the making. How was it? How many lads were there?
It was there was a few of us. I think it was north of 500, 400 or 500. So yeah, it was pretty decent. The weather was great. The beer was flowing. Stadium was decent. Had a walk down to the stadium. Locals were friendly. Yeah, it was good. Until the whistle went, which is so often the case, unfortunately. But listen, we had a good time. And as we'll go on to discuss, Finland did come away with the win, a 1-0 win for Jacob Friis. But I think it's fair to say, mate, it wasn't pretty. I mean, I had the luxury of being in the ground and being a few pints in. So, but yeah, I'm guessing you were stone cold sober watching on the telly. So, what can you tell us about the game, mate?
So the bits that you can't remember. I mean, at the start, I think we were quite looking forward to it. We were happy because, I mean, when they put the tactics up from the Balalido and I think what they were discussing in the studio, and then when you look at the lineup, you've got Chelman, Pohjanpalo, and Antman like in a sort of front three, Jensen, Peltola, and Kairinen in the middle, and you're looking at thinking, okay. I mean, Jensen can get forward. We can sort of switch to a 4 dynamically, or we can stick in a sort of a compact at 3 and have Antman, Pohjanpalo, and Chelman sort of like tussling up top. So we thought, this is going to be, it's going to be good. But as it transpired, it sort of felt like we went backwards a bit. I mean, I think like as we got into the game, it seemed to be quite easy for Malta to sort of keep a hold of the ball and sort of play it around the back. And I think we spent a lot of the game sort of chasing and trying to close them down. Like it felt like tactically we somehow, I don't know, we just weren't positioned right.
Yeah, I mean, all the match stats seem to support that, mate. I mean, it's when you look at the stats, I mean, Malta had the lion's share of the possession on just under 60% compared to Finland's 41. Malta had 19 shots, 6 of those on target compared to Finland's 10 shots overall with 5 on target. Yeah, again, Malta with 25 touches inside the Finland box. compared to only 11 touches for Finland inside the Malta box. So it was, the stats really tend to support what you're saying. It was a weird one. I mean, we're thinking to ourselves, we previewed the game, myself and producer Mark, and we were saying, Jacob Friis couldn't really have asked for a better game to open with. Okay, it's an away game, but the minnows of Malta, you need to be turning them over really. And it was Oliver Antman did score after 38 minutes, but and we'll talk through the goal in a second. But it was almost like we were slightly embarrassed to celebrate because it had taken us so long to sort of break Malta down and score the goal. But yeah, I mean, obviously nice for Antman getting on the international score sheet, but yeah, it was quite tough to watch, to be honest.
Yeah, it was. I mean, it sort of felt like they'd managed, I think they had 5 in the middle, something like that. Their wing backs sort of dropped into a deep 5, and then I think they had 1 or 2 of the front lads also dropping it up out. So it just felt to me like every part of the pitch we were outnumbered. You know what I mean? He had Beltala like running around trying to impose himself, but he kept getting bullied by like 2-3 players at the same time. And it was just hard for us to keep a hold of the ball for any length of time, which is strange against a team, when it's against a team like Malta. But you were in the stadium, right? So Antman scores. Does the away section goes wild, right?
Well, as I say, not quite. It was there were sort of muted celebrations. Obviously, we were pleased to be 1-0 up, but we sort of felt the tension in the ground, and it was it was almost like, okay, we should already be 1-0 up. This is no disrespect, but this is only Malta. We should be beating this side, and as it had taken us all the way up to 38 minutes to break that deadlock, it was the celebrations were a little bit muted, to be honest. And you said it felt like Finland were outnumbered, and it was actually the opposite case because Malta ended the game with 10 men. They had Shaw, I think it was, who was sent off some way before the end, and yeah, we still couldn't sort of break them down. I don't know whether that's down to their organisation or their or our guys trying to work out Jacob Friis' message for their first game with him in charge. But it was a strange one. And when the players came over at the final whistle, it was almost like they felt a little bit embarrassed to celebrate as well, But 3 points on the board at that stage, but it was it was a tricky one.
Yeah, was it? I mean, yes, that's a good question. Was it hot or anything? Like you were there, right? So was it humid or hot? Was it bad conditions? Because they looked leggy. They looked like disjointed at times. I felt actually quite sorry for Jere Uronen. Uronen came back, and then he seemed to have there was a couple of times he got caught out. I think in the first half when he misjudged the flight of the ball, and then they got in around the back, and they caused us a fair few problems sort of down the flanks. But yeah, how were the conditions in Malta?
Mate, listen, it was warm. It was a warm weekend, but yeah, by the time the match kicked off, whatever time it was in the evening, yeah, I mean, I can't say we can put that down as an excuse, but listen, there was just over 5,000 fans in the stadium. The Malta fans had a bit of a sing song, as I said. The Finland away fans, we had a decent section, and Jere and Tuomas kept us singing all the way through. The capos did a good job keeping the songs going, but yeah, it was obvious to us in the stands that the team was sort of struggling, and against, as I said, mate, against a team of comparative minnows, it was that sort of, I don't want to say negative, but that sort of energy was quite palpable,
I mean, maybe I think minnows might be a bit harsh, right? Didn't they've got Jamie? Because it's not like this isn't like in the 90s you would just every game Malta would just get absolutely pasted like 12-0. But it's not. I think we're not in that. Did they have Jamie Carragher's kid?
Yep. He was playing at centre back. Yep.
Yeah, so he's like a League One type defender. It's not terrible. And I think England, yeah, they've been thumped. They got thumped by Czech Czech Republic Czechia a while back. I think I'm supposed to say Czechia, but
Yeah.
then England didn't really smash them. I think they only put 2 past them. They haven't really had that many kick-ins for like in the last year or two. Italy did them 4, but like Ukraine 3-1, North Macedonia they got a draw against Slovenia. They beat obviously they beat Andorra and Moldova and Liechtenstein. So they've been on a decent. Only got done 2-0 by Greece. Drew with Belarus. Like they're not the minnows they used to be, I think.
Indeed. And at the end of the day, we did come away with the 3 points. So yeah, and that's what it's all about, I suppose. But we moved on. A lot of the fans. I mean, unfortunately for me, I had to head back to London to get myself back to work, and that annoying thing that funds these trips. But the airport was just absolutely chock-a-block full of Huuhkajat fans who were either flying directly to or heading to Lithuania via whichever layover they'd worked out. And loads of the guys were heading straight there because it was so the Malta game was the Friday night, I think I'm right in saying, and the Lithuania game was on the Monday, Monday the 24th. It's and we started that one so much better. Let's have a look at the lineup. It was not exactly the same. There was a few changes. So you mentioned Jere Urnen. He kept his place. The back 4 was unchanged with Nikolai Alho, Robert Ivanov, and Miro Tenho. And then in the middle we had Lod, Kairinen, Kamara, who had come in. And then up front, Antman Poyanpalo and Daniel Hawkins. So again, quite an offensive looking lineup, I'd say, mate.
Yeah, it was, and I mean, actually, I suppose I should say, like Malta game and this game had something in common, which is that we did, like in the Malta game, I think Ben Chalman had a couple of like chances really early on. Like, I think he had a sitter from about 3 yards that I think he hit straight at the keeper, and we could have done better with. But we did the same. We did the same against Slovenia. Against Lithuania. There you go. So yeah, Kairinen got his first goal for Finland, if I'm counting that right.
Yep, I think so. Yeah.
On 3 minutes, which was a pretty good start. Like we did really well. Like it was a nice opening to the game. We sort of tried to impose ourselves and get the ball forward as fast, like pretty quickly, and we looked like we were in a good situation.
Yeah, it was. I mean, it certainly was settled the nerves. I mean, again, Lithuania, a team that we would hope to be beating. Obviously, they had their previous result was the 1-0 loss to Poland, but I think that the goal against came quite late. Lithuania sort of held Poland up until the 80-odd minute until Robert Lewandowski scored for Poland. So, and that was in Poland. So that gave us a bit of a clue as what we might have been up against. But then for Kairinen to score after 3 minutes and sort of settled the nerves, and we thought, okay, here we go. And it only got better when Poyanpalo converted a penalty after 17 minutes, 2-0 up and cruising.
Yeah, and everything. I mean, we weren't I think we weren't bossing the game, but we'd taken 2 chances. I thought we looked pretty good on the break. But yeah, it was a little bit the same, which is that I think it seemed to me like Lithuania sort of figured us out, and then they started to adapt to how we were playing, which was pretty centrally. We didn't really get that much joy down the flanks, and then we started to get overloaded in the middle of the pitch. So it wasn't I think it was a little bit of a repeat, and they started. The Lithuanians started to just sort of bully us in the middle of the park, and at times it looked like they could just sort of play through us whenever they wanted. So it wasn't a classic by any stretch of the imagination at all, and it was a bit. I don't know. I sort of felt quite flat. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, obviously 2-0 up, and you're thinking, okay, this is decent, but Lithuania did hit back before half time. 39 minutes on the clock, and they make it 2-1. So, which was, it's disappointing to concede 5 minutes before half time. Could things have been different if we'd have taken that 2-0 lead into half time and just relaxed and reset a little bit? But to lose a goal against literally 4 or 5 minutes before half time is a bit of a killer. And then, as you say, mate, they sort of came out in the second half, Lithuania, and there were times when it did feel like a bit of a knife through butter. They were sort of carving us open quite nicely. I mean, we had some scary old moments, and then sure enough, they did manage to score after 69 minutes. Gulobikas was on the score sheet. Sorry, he assisted for Genetics. Yeah, Genetics to make it 2-2. And I mean, Finland tried to sort of get back into it. I mean, Pukki came on with sort of 5 minutes to go, subbed for Oliver Antman. The game just sort of petered out. There was if I remember rightly, there was a good few minutes of injury time at the end where sort of Finland looked almost desperate, really, sort of trying to lump it forward and had one or two sort of opportunities, you could say, but it eventually petered out into a 2-2 draw. And again, I don't wish to underestimate Lithuania, but when you look at our group, you have to say that Malta and Lithuania are the weaker sides in that group. So we've played the weaker sides. 4 points from 2 away games, but if we had any sort of dreams of making it to the USA and qualifying for this World Cup, I think they need to be parked for a bit because really and truthfully, if we want to progress from this group, we would have been looking for 6 points from those 2 games.
I think in both games we didn't create lots of chances. You know what I mean? And that's a worry. I think in the Lithuania game we created I think half as many chances as they did, something like that. Like we didn't really pepper their goal. I think again we had a few like half chances that if we'd have connected right, they could have gone. Remember, was it? I can't remember who it was who had rasped a shot wide from distance. But I think we don't look that sharp going forward, and then defensively we also look. I mean, the amount for the first goal, they break down the left hand side. There's a couple of like passes, and then there's a cut back to sort of the edge of the 18-yard box, and the lad takes a touch and then just wraps it in from sort of after he's taken the touch. Maybe it's around the penalty spot area, 12, 15 yards out. I mean, it's a really easy shot. Like under absolutely no pressure, it's a really easy shot to take. Yeah. And it's a bit similar. The second goal that they scored was a quality. It was like 35 yards or something like that. It was an absolute belter of a shot, a howitzer. But again, in the middle of the pitch, nobody's sort of particularly closing him down. Nobody's putting the ball under pressure. And if you give a lad sort of at that level time and space, then he's just going to open it up and stick his boot through it. Then it was they were both like well taken finishes, but in both goals, we didn't look like we put enough pressure on the ball. We didn't look solid enough.
Yeah, I mean, as I say, it's 4 points from the 2 games, which bizarrely, or whichever way you want to look at it, puts us in our group, puts us second in the group on 4 points. So Poland are currently top of the group with 2 wins with 6 points. Then it's us, Finland with 4 points, Lithuania with their 1 point from that draw with us. The Netherlands, who are yet to play. Netherlands had that Nations League playoff with Spain to decide who would come into our group. Group G, did we work that out? We're Group G. So Netherlands come in and they're yet to play. and then Malta with their 2 losses from the opening 2 games. So yeah, currently the group doesn't look terrible, but with those teams, Poland and Netherlands to play, the next of which is the Netherlands at home on Saturday the 7th of June, closely followed by Tuesday the 10th of June, Poland at home. Fair enough, those games are in Helsinki, but those 2 sides will be a much tougher prospect, I believe.
Yeah, if we play like we played in the last 2 games against Poland, they'll take us apart. And I think we've got form against Poland as well for getting done. So it needs to change sort of pretty drastically, and it'll be interesting to see what he does, because I think the criticism for Rive was that sort of mid to low block. We didn't look particularly adventurous. We looked at sort of keeping the ball and taking the sting out of games. And so part of me thinks, that now that we tried to be a bit more direct, you can sort of see why. Like, it's quite easy to overload us. We're not quick. We don't have like a massive, we don't have the best athleticism from a lot of teams. So, I think that, and I think with all I want to give Friis the benefit of the doubt and the time, but we didn't do anything particularly. We didn't look innovative. There wasn't any big sort of trick or philosophy or anything that you thought was interesting from a selection or a tactical point of view. So it's not looking great.
No, we can't jump get the pitchforks and the torches out for Jacob Friis just yet. We do have to give him some opportunity, but yeah, it does make me wonder. There was sort of some comments from Jacob Friis come out after the Malta game where he said, "Okay, now I've seen what I'm working with. I don't think I've ever coached a team that doesn't win any one-on-one duels or any one-on-one moves, and it was almost like, okay, did you not watch the team before you applied for the job, or it was
what have you been doing in training exactly?
Yeah.
It's a bit let's not say too much about Friis. Let's give him another shot. The game's coming up. He's got a chance to at home do something. Like put some goals in, put a good defensive display in. He could turn it around, but the signs aren't great.
Yeah, that's the $1 million question, mate. Because when we look at these players, our Huuhkajat players, they've all gone back to their clubs. They're all performing at a decent level, and not just performing, but they're making the difference in their club sides. Jole is absolutely on fire down in Palermo, scoring goals after goals. We've got the guys who are at Djurgården who are doing decent things. Adam Stahl chipped in with a goal the other week. Oliver Antman is absolutely bossing it in the Eredivisie with Go Ahead Eagles.
Yeah.
Benjamin Chelman is scoring goals in Poland. It's Jere Orinen is back in Sweden with AIK. It's these guys, they're playing at a decent standard, and they're leaving their mark on their games in club sides. So
at a better standard than the Maltese players and the Lithuanian players.
You would say so, mate. You would say so, yes. So it's that $1 million question. How does Jacob Friis and his brand new coaching staff get these players to gel, without sounding too much like a cliche? But that's what we need. That's what we desperately need. And as I say, Netherlands at home, that's a different prospect. So we'll keep our fingers crossed. It'll be sunny. It'll be light, hopefully, in Helsinki in June, and we'll see what we can do. Obviously, the Palolito will be looking to sell as many tickets as they can. I know the Pohjoiskara will be full to bursting, but yeah, hopefully we can fill up the Olympic Stadium and see what we can do against them.
Dutch are always a good crack as well. Good travelling fans.
Yeah. Yeah, so they always bring a lot of noise, a lot of colour. So it'll be exciting. And then as I said, the other match against Poland, and we will we will, if we're not already resigned to not going to America after those games, we will possibly know whether that's the case or not. But we'll get behind our team and give Jacob Friis the support that he needs, and hopefully we can get some positive results at home, mate.
Yeah, fingers crossed.
Fingers crossed. So so that's the Huuhkajat, and if we move over to the women's game now, those guys, the Helmarit, they also had 2 internationals recently.
Yeah.
They had the bizarre behind closed doors match against Belarus, which was played in Italy, I believe. Yeah,
that's
it. The
training stadium. It was
Stadio Silvio Piola.
Yeah, in Navarra. That's right. Yeah.
So behind closed doors. Obviously for various political reasons. Yle, the Finnish national broadcaster, decided not to show this game again because of the opposition and the way that their politics is working at the moment. It was available to watch on YouTube, I believe. Again, pesky old work got in the way for me, but it was a Nations League B Group 3 match that played out in a 0-0 draw. But I believe you saw a bit of it, Mark.
I did, yeah, and I thought, I was starting to think when I watched this one that I was cursed, or that something was going on, because it was one of the ones. I mean, I suppose unlike the Huuhkajat game, the Helmarit dominated in Italy, but it was just so weird to be sort of in an empty stadium that's like in the middle of nowhere in Italy.
Yeah.
Like it was sort of a drab affair. It felt and looked like a training game, because the Belarusian team basically just wanted to sit back. They had 6-7 behind the ball at any given time, and it was up to the Helmarit to try and try and find a way through. I think we hit the bar in the first half. We did try to make a few. We got in behind a couple of times and just couldn't find the right finish. And then I think it was Evelina Summanen missed a penalty in the second half, which was sort of a clear, she was rugby tackled basically down in the box, and then got up and hit the penalty straight. It wasn't that bad. Bottom left, I think it was. Nice, solid hand for the keeper. And we basically peppered the goal. We started to then basically just resort to long distance shots, because they dropped deeper. We couldn't really get in behind, and they kept pumping it up on the counter attack. But we absolutely dominated the game, and it just sort of fizzled out. They kept making sort of niggly challenges. They kept sort of stopping the game, slowing it down, kicking the ball away, wasting time, that kind of stuff. So it was a lot of the dark arts from Belarus. There was some small changes there that Saloranta made to try and sort of get something going, but it had a really weird feel to it. It was quite sort of a sad affair.
Yeah, I know what you mean. Like those games in empty stadiums they tend to be a bit strange. I remember when myself and some of the lads went out to Murcia in Spain to watch Huuhkajat play a couple of games against Iceland and who was it? Slovenia or Slovakia? I can't remember now. But yeah, in an almost empty stadium, it was super weird. So yeah, I get the vibe that you're talking about. But I mean, positives to take. Anna Koivunen playing again in goal and kept a clean sheet. So, which is a massive plus for her as a young goalkeeper. There was a couple of debuts, I believe. Up front, Kruger. She made a international debut, and I mean the thing I would say about the Helmarit team is that it is in a transitional period, but the transitions seem to be working quite well. The introductions of the younger players seems to be going quite smoothly. So, obviously,
it was also really hard, from a sort of. From the sort of coaching perspective, they were so dominant that you were thinking you didn't really want to make a change, because you thought there was always that feeling we're was just the next ball over the top. And we
Yeah,
just need to connect right. We just get the right header or the right contact, and we'd be fine. And if we'd have got if we'd have just got one, Belarus would have given us no there was no coming back from that. All they had was just to sort of park the bus.
yeah,
That was just the hard part. And then obviously they had the Hungary game sort of waiting. So players that you thought might have got on, it just didn't feel like. It sort of felt like this team had enough to do it.
yeah. I mean, again, the stats completely back up what you're saying. Helmarit with 76.9% of the possession, 14 shots compared to 4 from Belarus. So yeah, it was Helmarit with 10 corners compared to none from Belarus. So it was it really was a dominant display without unfortunately putting the ball in the back of the net. But yeah, we moved on from there. Take the point, move on, and yeah, on Tuesday the 8th of April, Helmarit went to Tampere and entertained Hungary. Well, maybe didn't entertain Hungary, but they entertained all the fans in the Tampere Stadium because they ended up with a 3-0 win over Hungary.
Yeah, 3-0 win and three headers and a pretty much dominant physical display. That was a totally different totally different experience, totally different game. I think Emma Koivisto scored in that. I think it was early on at 15, 20 minutes.
Yeah, 20 minutes.
Yeah, 20 minutes. Yeah. So after that went in, the Hungarians kind of had a bit of a rally and a bit of a comeback, and they did for their part. They made a few chances. I think they had a really good chance straight after we scored, but after that, we again sort of controlled the game, dominated the game. We did an amazing job of just dispossessing. Just any time they sort of broke over the halfway line, we were able to just put the foot on the ball. I think Emma Summanen, yeah, again, she was just monstrous. In the middle of the pitch, she would just hoover up anything that sort of broke into in towards the final third, and then just sort of moved it forward. So it was a really good display. And then second half, we got two. It was it was Linda Sahlstrom got one first half.
Yep.
I think that was from a corner, and then it was the sub Franci who came on and got a lovely little deft flick on at the end to make it 3. And that was just a big relief after watching 3 sort of turgid and difficult games. It was nice to watch the Helmarit just sort of put a team, absolutely just put a team under. So it was a nice relief.
I mean, what I will say about that game, you mentioned Emma Koivisto with the first goal, but she was, and again, like you said, all 3 goals coming from headers, which was fantastic. But Emma Koivisto was really brave with that first goal. It was sort of like she got down low with the header, sort of got there in front of the Hungarian defender, who left a bit of a mark on her. But yeah, she connected with the header first and sent it in for 1-0, which was really, really, really great. I mean, what can you say about Linda Sahlstrom? 62 international goals, I think that is now. She's, record appearance maker now in a Finland shirt, record goal scorer in a Finland shirt. I mean, absolute legend of a player. Doesn't seem to be any stopping her soon either. I mean, absolutely fantastic. And that's one of those sort of flick on back headers, wasn't it? From a Olga Artinen, was it a free kick or a corner? I think. Yeah. Olga Artinen corner and sort of a flicked header back, and in it went. And then go on, sorry, mate.
Oh, you go ahead.
Yeah, and I was just going to say with the last one, so pleased to see Sunny Franci score. She's a player who I follow quite closely in her career in Spain. Absolutely, thoroughly lovely person. Immersed herself in the Spanish culture, speaks Spanish, scores goals for fun out there, and obviously you could see the delight on her face getting another international goal. So yeah, it was absolutely brilliant night out for everyone, I think.
It was, and it puts. I mean, after the Belarus game, you're sort of thinking as well, we were unlucky against Serbia. I think in the opening game of the thing, I think we lost 1-0, and it was a penalty. And it was wasn't exactly clear cut as well. It was a bit dodgy, but now 7 points in the playoff place. For 4, like 2 games clear of Hungary. So I think we'll play Serbia at home, and then we'll be fighting for that, either the automatic promotion or we'll be in the playoff spot. And you've got to fancy this Finland team to be in Group A next time. Like I think we can do. I think we were massively unlucky against Serbia. I think we played really, really well against Belarus and Hungary. We just were unlucky against Belarus. So I think we've got it. We've got it. It's there to take, I think.
Yeah, I think you're right, mate. And again, I know I'm repeating myself, but yeah, the way we've got a lot of bright young prospects, young players coming through to this Helmarit side, all playing at a decent level, across the Nordics and across the other European leagues, and obviously some over in America as well. It's an exciting time, but yeah, as you said, we've got Belarus again on Friday the 30th of May. Bizarrely, the previous fixture that we played in Italy, I think that was Finland's home game.
Yeah.
So the Belarus home game, who knows where that's going to be? That's going to be played.
No, I think it's still in. Well, I think they played in Italy and in Croatia.
Fair enough.
But it'll be in a behind the closed doors, empty stadium, like wherever they find it. And it's because I think the Finnish government wouldn't let the Belarusian players basically into the country, which is its own kind of fun. But yeah, I think wherever it is, it'll be anyway behind the closed doors and not ticketed. And then the one after that is then the Serbia. That's the group decided Serbia home game. So
yes,
that should be.
Which should work out as the group decider, really, and and at the very least, like you say, we should be hoping for that playoff place.
Yeah, I think Serbia will probably do Hungary again, so we'll be all right. We'll get it.
So yeah, I mean, it's it is a fun time to be a Finland fan. There's plenty going on, but. But yeah, it's just whichever way your persuasion is. If you're into the men's team rather than the women's team, but like we like to keep across all of them. We've also got just to remind you guys, listeners, we've got the under-21 European Championships are not far away. I should know when that is happening. Yeah, so June, summertime. Yeah, I think the first match is the 12th of June. Is that correct? Let's have a look.
Something like it's in Austria, right?
Yeah. It's not Slovakia, is it?
Yeah.
I think it's in Slovakia.
Yeah, you're right. It is in Slovakia.
Yeah. So yeah, we've got Netherlands, Ukraine, and Denmark in our group. I think there'll be quite a lot of Finnish fans heading over to that. We got good vibe and big hopes for the under-21s. They're a side that we've spoke about before, and producer Mark mentioned in the previous episode that a lot of the players had already made that step up to the men's national side. But the Palolito or whoever's running the show over there has decided to keep the majority of that under-21 side that qualified together for these finals to see what they can do, and I think that's fair enough, to be honest, mate.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, it'd be nice to get to have a good team there, give us a good showing. So it's been a while. When was the last time? It's been a while since we've qualified for the under-21. So
yeah,
it's good to get to the tournament.
No, that's it. So well, thanks for joining us, Mark. It's been an absolute pleasure to see your face and to talk to you again. I mean, it's a tricky one. It kind of. We got 4 points on the board for the Huuhkajat, but it does feel a little bit underwhelming. But we'll see what we can do. And obviously kudos to the women after their strange behind closed doors draw. They turned it on against Hungary, and it's always nice to do it at home with so many kids in the stadium to cheer them on. So yeah, I think we can end on a good vibe, to be honest, mate. So it's been good to talk to you, and we'll catch up again soon.
Cheers, bud. See you later.
Kiitos.
Kiitos.
You've been listening to the Finnish Football Show. You can find us online at finishfootballshow.com. Remember to subscribe to the show wherever you're listening or watching. You can follow the Finnish Football Show page and group on Facebook and also on Instagram. Escape to Suomi on Twitter is now Finnish Football Show on X. And you will find us on Blue Sky at Finnish Football Pod. See the links in the episode description, along with the links to the Finnish Football Show merch stores.